What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're taking a look at Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. Overall, I thought this was a decent Christmas special from 1962. I don't have any recollection growing up with this movie as a child, so after watching it with a fresh pair of eyes, I can say that it's a very interesting take on the old Christmas Carol story that was originally published by Charles Dickens in the 1800s. The idea of using Mr. Magoo as Ebenezer Scrooge, I thought was, okay at best. They don't really make much out of it from a comedic thing, since Mr. Magoo's whole gimmick is that he's a blind elderly man. When he's in the Christmas Carol portion of the film, he pretty much acts like he's not blind, and I think you could have gotten some comedic mileage out of it if you'd have still had him be, if he was like more of a bumbling Ebenezer Scrooge. That's just how I would have done it personally. That's just me. I'm not really all that into musicals, so this movie is a musical rendition of A Christmas Carol, and it's not horrible. Some of the songs are decent at best. I think the opening song, On My Way to Broadway, is actually one of the better ones out of this entire movie, which is the whole prologue of Ebenezer Scrooge going to Broadway, since he's starting a Broadway production of A Christmas Carol. I actually like that. I actually thought that was actually pretty clever, that this whole movie is told, that this whole version of A Christmas Carol is pretty much Mr. Magoo performing it on Broadway. I thought that was actually a pretty clever idea that this movie presented, and it kind of gave the Christmas Carol story a little bit of its own unique feel and a little bit of its unique spin. So I applaud the creators for doing that. I thought overall the voice acting was very, very solid for its time. The actor who voiced Mr. Magoo, I thought he did a good job playing the character of Ebenezer Scrooge. He really captured that curmudgeon, just miserable guy who goes through this spiritual journey with the three spirits of Christmas, where he rediscovers his spirit. We get to see how Scrooge is in the present, how he doesn't care about anything. We get to see how he was in the past, where he was more of an optimistic fellow, but money is what turned him to greed, and he ended up losing something more valuable than money, which was his soul. And we see what happens to him in the future, where he dies and nobody cares about him. I thought all that aspect was handled fine for a kids movie. A Christmas Carol can pretty much be rendered as one of the more darker Christmas stories, especially when you get to the Ghost of Christmas Future and the death of Ebenezer Scrooge. But this movie played it in a more this movie downplayed the more scary aspect of A Christmas Carol, but it still maintained that spirit. All the other supporting actors, all the other moments in this movie, I thought were solid. The stuff with Tiny Tim is how it plays out in Christmas Carol. The stuff with Cricket is the guy he overworks all the time. That's pretty much played the way it's always been played. Like the movie doesn't really do anything really all that new with the Christmas Carol story itself. It's not like a movie. It's not like Scrooged with Bill Murray, where it puts a more modern spin on it. This movie pretty much just retells A Christmas Carol, only with a more of a musical twist, and with the whole idea of it being a Broadway production. That's pretty much it. Like, in terms of creativity, that's where it begins, and that's where it stops. But I'll say this: it is faithful enough to the source material, and that's pretty much it. You could have gotten more mileage out of it if Ebenezer Scrooge acted more like a blind Ebenezer Scrooge, get some comedic value out of that, which didn't really do it. But hey, 'tis what it is. So yeah, end of the day, I'm just going to give this movie a solid 5 out of 10. It was fine for what it was. If you're a child, you're going to enjoy it. If you're an adult who used to watch it as a kid, it might bring back memories of you growing up with this. But for me, it was just middle of the road. Wasn't anything bad at all. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Let me know let me your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.